In the current setup, it should be very easy for pretty much all traders to make, well, if you leverage, and you should be able to make 50 to 100% every year for the next 3 to 4 years easily. But I'm going to show you why almost nobody will be able to do it. So here's the market. You only need one market, trade one market, and that'd be the gold and silver, the precious metals market. The reason I want to do that is because we've got a very long basing pattern here, this cup and handle pattern that ran from 2011, the end of latter part of 2011, until it just finally broke out above that this spring. Everybody knows the rule: the bigger the base, the higher in space. So I'm certain that this breakout is kicking off the final phase of the bull market that started way back here in 2001. And so all you have to do to make really good gains every year is just trade 2 intermediate cycles a year. That's usually what gold has. It'll have an intermediate cycle in the early part of the year, and it'll have some kind of a correction or sideways consolidation during the summer or very early in the winter, and then you'll have another intermediate cycle. All you have to do is trade those 2 intermediate cycles, trade them with leverage, and you should be able to easily make 50 to 100% every year from now until we get a bubble top, which I'm kind of expecting in 27 or 28. But here's why most people won't be able to do that. They get sidetracked. So they're tunnel visioned on the daily wiggles, and when the metals don't go up every day like they want it to, the grass is greener over on the other side of the fence, and they'll jump over to another market. And so when you get, like this was a multi-week sideways correction, people get sidetracked, they jump over and they chase something that's been moving and is mature. Typically what happens is they get caught at the top, and then they'll get stopped out, so they'll lose a little bit of their profits. And then about the time the year or the intermediate cycle bottoms and we start to go up, they're trapped somewhere else, and they're trapped in a market that's in a drawdown, and now they don't really want to sell because they don't want to take a loss. So they keep holding that market, waiting to get back to at least even. And in the meantime, the precious metals, the intermediate cycle, is starting to run away from them. So they're missing chunks of the move. And so this is exactly what causes people to screw up a perfect setup. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better setup than this. You know, a huge multi-year base, a breakout from that base, and I think it seems pretty obvious to me that we're in the final years of the bull market, and it's going to turn into, eventually it's going to turn into some kind of a bubble. And literally all you have to do is you have to be patient, and you have to just trade, the 2 intermediate cycles that you get every year, and trade them with leverage. You don't have to time the bottoms perfectly. And if you do that and you ignore everything else, you don't get sidetracked into different markets, into areas where you're chasing a move that's mature. I'll show you a perfect example here. All right, so metals have been stuck in an intermediate decline. So instead of staying focused on the metals and getting prepared or getting into and prepared to ride the next intermediate cycle, people get frustrated, and they go looking for some way to make money now. They need to make money today, and so they end up chasing a mature move. Now, the 2 markets that I like, because both have had long bases and are breakouts, are Bitcoin and gold. However, this intermediate cycle in Bitcoin is very mature. I think we're on week 18. So here's our intermediate bottom. You can see this is a very mature move. So it's a bit dangerous to be chasing this. My advice to my subscribers was to buy right here on this breakout and hold. And then my target was 120 to 130. When we got up in here, I said, you can either just be happy with your gains. We're almost to 120. Is that close enough for you? You could take your profits and be happy, or you could keep hanging on and try and ride this all the way to 120. But what's happened is if people got frustrated with gold and metals and they jumped over to Bitcoin, but they jumped over on week 17 or 18, then they get caught in this correction. And this, I think this shaved off about 16% from this top to this bottom. I'm not sure this is done yet. There's a possibility that this could turn into an intermediate decline. 18 weeks is pretty mature. So, if you got frustrated with metals and you jumped in right up here, you might have just got in right at the top of the intermediate cycle, and Bitcoin may have to come all the way back down and retest this breakout here at about 75,000. I don't know that that's, for a fact. I was kind of looking for 120, but we may not get there. We may only get to 110 on this intermediate cycle. Now, I do expect, even if we do have an intermediate rally, I do expect it's going to go back up and it's going to hit that 120 to 130, but you just may have to weather an intermediate correction in between. So all you did by getting frustrated and losing focus on the metals was jump over here into a market that's 17, 18 weeks into an intermediate cycle, and you may have gotten yourself caught at the intermediate top and then ride this down and shave off a bunch of the gains that you've made in metals, and then at some point you get frustrated and you sell for a pretty good loss, and then you jump over and back into the metals, but maybe by that time you've probably missed 8 to 10 weeks of the rally in metals. So now you're kind of doing the same thing. You got frustrated in this market, now you're jumping over to metals, but you're jumping over again late in the intermediate cycle, and you're risking getting caught at an intermediate top. So this is what happens to many, if not most, traders. They can't just stay focused on one market. I'll say it again. If you can just focus on metals, on gold and silver, and forget about everything else, accept that there are going to be weeks and months where it's going to be dull or nothing's happening, or you're sitting in cash while you're waiting out an intermediate decline. The thing is you're not losing any of your gains by trying to jump around and make something happen. Trying to make money every day. Trying to make money every day pretty much guarantees you're going to lose money. So let me go back to gold here. So if you want to end the year up 50 to 100%, then get on board the S&T. I'll keep you focused on the metals. We'll just focus mostly on that market. You can focus on one or the other. You can focus on metals, or you can focus on Bitcoin. I'm not too bullish on anything else. Energy is kind of stuck sideways. I'm not one of those people that chases the fad of the moment, which is the quantum stocks. I'm not going to chase that stuff. Again, that's just a great way to get caught at in a mature rally and then a big correction. And these really volatile parabolic moves that you get in these fad stocks, they tend to collapse. So it's just a great way to lose money, chasing those kind of fads. And if you can get in before the fad starts, then great. And that's what you should be doing right now with metals. You should be getting in before the move starts. The problem is they don't all rocket launch right out of the bottom immediately when you buy. So you've got to have the patience to buy low. And if it's not the exact bottom, you just hang on. And then 3 or 4 months from now, you're up 50%. Whereas the people that are jumping back and forth trying to make something happen every day, 3 or 4 months from now, they'll probably be down 10 or 15%. So you would have been better off to just stay focused on one market. So basically, we've got a great setup to easily make 50 to 100% per year for the next 3 2 to 3 to 4 years. If you want to focus solely on metals or solely on Bitcoin, or you can split it between the two. Or you can take a good hard look at your trading over the last several years, 5 or 10 years, and if it has been your habit to jump around trying to make something happen every day, and you take an honest look at your portfolio, and I'm pretty sure you're going to discover that strategy is not paying off for you. You're not making sustainable money, probably losing money. So then at that point, it's just, are you going to admit to yourself that it doesn't work and try something else? Or will you just keep doing the same thing over and over and hoping at some point you're going to get a different result, which I think Einstein said is the definition of insanity, to keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And for the vast majority of you, if that's what you're doing, jumping around, all over the place, trying to make something happen every day, and you're not producing any sustainable gains, then I think at some point, you need to accept that it's never going to change. You're going to keep getting the same results. And if you want to get different results, then you got to try something else. And the next 2 to 4 years, very, very easy to make a lot of money. All you have to do is have patience, discipline, and stay focused on 1 or 2 markets. And I think you'll make great money every year for the next 2 to 4 years. And if your goal is to make money, then if you want to join the S&T, I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to mostly focus on the metals, a little bit on Bitcoin. Don't know that I'm going to focus all that much on stocks going forward. It's getting pretty late in the bull market. So you got 2 months to join the S&T. I've still got the monthly subscriptions open for now. By the end of February, I will close that. At that point, it's just going to be basically for serious investors that want to make money, that want to take advantage of this setup that we've got here over the next 2 to 4 years, and not get sidetracked and just keep doing the same thing over and over with the same results of not making any money or not making any sustainable gain, so that by the time you get to the end of every year, you have got no more money in your portfolio than when you started the year. There's no reason for that to be the case for the next 2 or 4 years with the perfect setups that we've got in metals and Bitcoin. You're just going to have some discipline and determination and patience, and that will be rewarded with some spectacular gains in your portfolio over the next 3 to 4 years.